It's okay.
But it was good. The last night, of course, we get beautiful throughout the whole. And the last night we had our own tour. The only night we had so. And it was supposed to be the day. No, the opening ceremony was in the day, and the next night was in the big festival. But no, it was good. It was good fun. Yeah. Well, they took us to the first night they it was like, walk 5 minutes away.
Do you know something more?
No idea. You said it.
Hey guys, do you know something more?
Yes, no, love
Hier is zo op hè? Kun je het dan? Die zat even.
Jā. Kasti vīna.
Kasti?
Protams, ko tu domā?
Tad redzam pēc no datora.
Nu, bet lūdīs, ne tikai. Arī no atkrīstotām, kas sargā tavu stundu datoru.
fait en haut et en bas. Avec la tour, enfin les mains en haut avec le plafond, et toi en face, on va faire ça ou 800, je sais pas bien avec le plafond. C'est tout ça. Ouais, c'est ces choses-là, on rentrait la ligne, puis la faire. Voilà, ça c'est tout sur le Oui, non, parce que
c'est manuel. Mais ouais, je bosse aujourd'hui pour.
ça fait 15 jours qu'ils sont là-bas, plus. Toutes les équipes.
Non, mais je te dis à 5 à 4 heures.
C'est le terrien, le restaurant, l'hôtel. Et puis ils sont pas individuels. Ça vaut cher un temps, ça va bien.
Ouais.
Là, ça nous. Oui, comme ils ont beaucoup sur moi.
Vraiment, c'est chez Jean.
Rien de bureau avec. Des gens qui donc, les avions tous les jours, ils ne sont pas pleins. De la même façon. Là, je ne comprends pas. Les mecs qui mettent les
Okay, tas viss ir atskatīts. Nu, vismaz tad. Okay. Nu, droši vien. Viņa man atrakstīja, ka viņa man tieši jābūt tā dāma uz lapas, ja un diezgan iedustīga tā māma vēža. Es saku, jā, nu, labi. Jā? Klopis, es te arī puisi.
Aussi, ça c'est bien. Tu peux pas c'est bien.
Nē, viņš ir sēdams, kā viņš sauc. Pagalcies, viņš ir nosaukt ar vienu atsevišķi. Mums ir gopits.
Tev jau ir vēl iespēja.
Nē.
Nelaid kumā.
Pasori. Jā.
Es rēju skaidru nekādu.
Labi, paldies jau. Labi, es tev laikam iztraucēju pīzmās. Labi, ēdien.
Mums internāta tieši raidē.
Lūdzu, mūsu no aizmugures sāles. Varbūt atcēlēsim mūsu to eiro. Tagad domā, kā to patīk. Sāla Latvijā. Cik tu būtu, to samgar no turienes. Oh, jā.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Martin Spanke. I'm the spokesman to Prime Minister of Latvia, Valdis Dombrovskis, and we are very glad to have you all here for today's decision, which is very important for Latvia, the decision of ECOFIN concerning Latvia's move towards Eurozone. But I will not waste any more of your time. I will give the floor to Prime Minister of Latvia, Mr. Valdis Dombrovskis.
So, first of all, I would like to thank everybody who had been participating in Latvia's way towards Euro accession, since really it has been a long journey ever since we were joining the EU and had the goal of Euro adoption also in our EU accession treaty until this very moment when we finally arrived there, and now we can say with confidence that yes, we are joining Eurozone as of January 1st of next year. For today's decision, well, I would say it was certainly expected, but the issue was, which was much discussed in Latvia, what is currency exchange rate. So it's very important that we are introducing euro strictly according to the official exchange rate of Bank of Latvia, which is 1 euro being 0.702804 lots. So strictly according to the official rate. And we believe that it's a positive development for Latvia. It will facilitate economic development in several ways through the possibility to have lower interest rates, because whatever currency exchange risks there might be calculated by financial markets between Lats and Euro would disappear. It will help us also to reduce currency conversion costs, being very small, very open economy, and doing around 70% of our foreign trade in euros. We spend lots of money just converting from Lats and to euros back and forth. This cost would be taken away from economy, and we also expect it helping with attracting foreign investment, since for international investors, it's also easier to work and to calculate things in euro than in different small national currencies. We saw this effect of actually helping attracting foreign investment in Estonia, which joined in 2011, and we would expect similar effect in Latvia. So we believe it's good news not only for Latvia, we believe it's good news also for the Europe and Eurozone, showing confidence that despite various speculations on problems in Eurozone, on some years ago even speculations of some possible disintegration of Eurozone, we see that Eurozone is taking the measures to deal with the current financial and economical crisis, and moreover there is confidence in Eurozone, and Eurozone is indeed enlarging. So I think it's a good day both for Latvia and for Europe, and I would like also to thank the finance minister for his important work towards this goal, and also for today's positive ECOFIN decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. And now the Minister of Finance of Latvia, Mr. Andris Vilks.
Thank you. It's indeed a very important day for Latvia, because it's not just technical issue, just switching from one currency to another. It's very symbolic meaning of this day, because we are completing our integration to the core Europe, actually. That is extremely important for us. And actually, we set those goals already after gaining independence in 1991. And this last task to introduce euro was the most complicated, because we suffered quite severe crisis. And just some years ago, Latvia was the most complicated case in the for Europe, actually. And just within 3 or 4 years, Latvia is the fastest growing economy. There are much more stronger fundamentals. That is, I think, very, very important, is that we are going to the Eurozone much better prepared, and we are ahead of the cycle. And we have very valuable experience, which we are going to share with others, and we have very strong commitment. And as I said to my colleagues, we have strong spirit as well. And we trust Europe. We trust the euro, and that is very much up to us together how to solve the problems to get Europe back to the better competitiveness, just to improve Europe as a global player. At this moment, I think it's a very crucial job for all of us, and hope that Latvia will be able to be among the best performers also for the coming years, having in mind that also we will have another support element, that is euro. And there is no doubt about the fiscal discipline, about the structural reforms, because we see ourselves as an economy which is in another level. It's so-called innovative economy. It will take several years, but at this moment, as I said, there is strong growth, there is fastest growing labor market, and very good opportunities for export. And because of crisis, we have learned quite a lot of very important lessons, and that is also very helpful for the coming cycle. And we are focusing only to the growth, not anymore dealing with austerity measures. The growth is number one issue, and euro is definitely a very, very helpful element for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. And now I'd like to pass the floor to you, to the audience, for your questions. Please raise your hand. Yes.
So maybe I speak in Latvian. Digis Meļķis, dienas biznesa. Šodien jūsu kungi jūsu zvaigžņu stundu, un to es jūs apsveicu. Bet tomēr vai ir kādas bažas, raizes, varbūt ne, bet nu tā, par ko būtu jāpadomā tagad uz priekšu, kādi ir nākamie izaicinājumi, tā teikt.
So let me do a quick translation. The question was if there are any doubts or concerns about the introduction of euro in Latvia.
Well, as regards this introduction of euro, as I said, it's largely a positive decision, and certainly today we have a feeling of accomplished task, since we set this target date of January 1st, 2014, already during the crisis. In fact, it was set in 2009 and formalized in early 2010. And we have stuck to this target date ever since and actually arrived there. So as regards some concerns, well, of course, we know that there are lots of questions coming from Eurozone crisis, but it's worth noting for that sake that Lats as a currency is pegged to the euro. So at the best, Lats can be as stable as euro. Lats cannot be more stable than euro since it's pegged to euro, and we have seen times when they are not the best times, when people started to doubt the stability of Lats, and then it was creating huge problems to the economy. So in this sense, we are joining the currency zone, which is providing additional confidence also to the currency stability in Latvia. Certainly now it's also becoming our issue, or more directly also our Latvia's issue, how Eurozone is dealing with the crisis, since we are also now part of the Eurozone. And in this sense, certainly we're willing to be a responsible citizen, taking our obligations, and what's more important, that Latvia, as other Eurozone countries, are to follow its own or Eurozone's own rules. It's very important that all Eurozone countries play according to the rules, so that we really can be confident that this crisis is being overcome.
Thank you. Next question, please. Mr. Spiegel.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Peter Spiegel with the Financial Times. Two questions. First, along with joining the euro, there is a membership fee. Latvia will have to put money in the ESM. Have you been told yet what the Latvian contribution will be to that, or is that something to be negotiated down the road? And secondly, I think the recent polls show that your membership is supportive of about 38% of the Latvian people. What would you say to the rest of the Latvian population that is not as enthusiastic as you are with joining the euro? How can you convince that part of the population that this is a good thing? Thank you.
Well, to answer the first question on Latvia's contribution to the European Stability Mechanism, well, certainly we have calculated our potential contribution to the ESM, and it's something which is basically provided also on the ESM treaty, and certainly we take this as a package deal, if you want, since we are joining the Eurozone, we are joining the Eurozone with all its rules and conditions, and contribution to the ESM is one of those conditions which we have to take into consideration. But even calculating this contribution to the ESM, we see that still balance is largely positive for Latvia. We still see that it's a substantial additional benefit to the Latvia's economy through the mechanisms which I described in the introductory remarks. So to come to the second question, as regards public support, what we are seeing is that since we launched and some additional information and communication campaign in some half a year ago, public support is gradually improving. And I think it's realistic that by the time we actually join Eurozone on January 1st, majority of the population would support this decision. Moreover, now we plan to do the second part of this information and communication campaign, more concentrating on practicalities. If in the first part we were more explaining the reasoning why it's important to join, explaining the nature of Eurozone crisis, that it's not Euro as a currency crisis, explaining how lots is pegged to Euro, explaining all the economy, then now we'll be more concentrating on practicalities. So how exactly people's savings will be converted in bank accounts, how cash can be converted and so on, so that people know exactly what to expect prior to January 1st and what to expect after January 1st, because what we see is that already in this first stage, when we were trying more to concentrate on the question why, there were also many questions how. So people want to know those practicalities, and now we'll concentrate to explain also all the practicalities and to remove a number of worries. And indeed, I believe that today's ECOFIN decision will help to remove one of those worries, because one of the arguments Eurosceptics were using was definitely somehow ECOFIN will convert lots to euros in some different exchange rate. And all the time there were speculations about this, despite that both government and Bank of Latvia have repeatedly stated that it's going to be according to the existing official exchange rate. Well, now today's ECOFIN decision proves it, and I think it's also additional step towards gaining more confidence among public.
I can add some information. Latvia's contribution to ESM is 40 million per year in first 5 years, and later on, starting from the 13th year, additional 120 million. Overall, it's more than 320 million of euros. But the most important is those first 5 years, 40 million per year. It's not a huge sum of the money, but it's very important that we are stick to this ESM mechanism in case of the trouble, and also that is some kind of very important as solidarity instrument.
Thank you. Next question, please. Over there.
Anne Bauer, the newspaper Les Echos from France. I wanted to ask you if you had any additional requirements from the European Commission and the ECB about your coming in the euro. I mean, by that, did they have any questions about your fiscal system and about your fiscal competitiveness? Because apparently it's a worry in some countries that you have a very low taxes on capital and on companies. And then I wanted to ask you about what kind of inflation do you expect after the introduction of the euro in your country?
Okay, probably I will start answering on the fiscal position. Well, first of all, as regards European Commission's and ECB's a position on Latvia's Eurozone adoption, those can be read in convergence reports prepared correspondingly by European Commission and ECB. As regards the fiscal position, I must say that there were no concerns raised. It was noted that last year budget deficit in Latvia was 1.2% of GDP. Correspondingly, we clearly and convincingly fulfill Maastricht criteria on budget deficit, and as regards Maastricht criteria on public debt, last year our public debt was at 40.7% of GDP, again clearly below 60% of GDP set by Maastricht criteria. There were no further remarks as regards our fiscal position in a convergence report. Or maybe ministers can add something.
Some kind of strong remarks or something like that, because we have our own commitments, and those are also fit to do those requirements which is coming from the ECB or European Commission. It's about fiscal discipline that we are showing quite good results and responsibility. It's about structural reforms. Those are ongoing anyway. There is strong demand from our public, from politicians to continue with those. Because if we would like to see our economy as innovative economy, we have to do quite a lot of in education, in labor policies and so on. It's also still in public administration. And also there are about financial sector policies where we would like to strengthen this. And but anyway, also, if you are talking about financial sector, that is one of the, at this moment, having the highest liquidity and capital adequacy ratios in all over Europe. And as regards to inflation, if you're asking that, next year there is a forecast from the Minister of Finance and Central Bank, which is saying the inflation could be in range from 2 to 2.5%. It should be the same approximately for 15 and 16. It would be one of the lowest anyway in Europe.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Excuse me, just a precision.
Okay.
What I was asking is that you are considered in some European countries, and do you consider yourself as a kind of fiscal haven or a fiscal paradise? Because there were some kind of rumors that lots of foreign capital, especially Russian capitals, were going into your banks to escape some kind of taxes in Russia.
Well, certainly we could not agree with this statement. It clearly was not raised in European Commission's and ECB's statements. So as regards our tax system, I would say they are more or less in line with EU's practices. What we are doing now in a fiscal side, we are now working towards reducing tax burden on labor, something which was also mentioned in European Commission's recommendations to Latvia, that we have a relatively high tax burden on labor, especially for low-income earners, and this situation needs to be addressed, and this is something we're exactly discussing. Then maybe the question was not so much about fiscal position, but rather the question about non-residence deposits in our banking system, something which was mentioned in the European Commission's and ECB's report. But then again, it's worth noting that we have a relatively small banking sector by EU standards. Somehow those comparisons were often driven with Cyprus, that Cyprus has banking sector assets somewhere 700% to 800% of GDP. That was before crisis. EU average is somewhere around 360, 370% of GDP. Latvia has below 130% of GDP. So clearly we have a relatively small banking sector. As the situation was also before the crisis, around half of the deposits are non-residence deposits. And what European Commission and ECB was mentioning, that this situation requires some monitoring. And already those banks primarily engaging in non-residence activities are faced with much stricter capital adequacy and liquidity requirements than banks which are not or engaged primarily in residence business. That's why also our banking sector capitalization is well above EU average. But this is something, yes, European Commission and ECB recommends to follow and to follow those developments, and this is something we are willing to do.
Thank you. Next question, gentleman over there.
Hi. Masakuni Oshobe with Nikkei Japanese Economic Daily. My question is on the relationship with other currency, especially the Asian currency. For example, Japanese authority taking expansionary measures, both monetary policy side and the fiscal side. And also Chinese currency is not market-oriented, regulated currency. So do you worry about the some kind of the stability of the euro or currency manipulation or currency war with Asian currency? Thank you.
Well, I must say that there were some worries maybe some half a year ago or so. Because clearly, if we look at the euro as a currency, its exchange rate now is closer to the historical maximums than to historical minimums. Euro's share as a global reserve currency also remains stable. Around a quarter of global reserves are being held in euros. So, but what each major economies are following each other on exchange rates. So if there were some worries about euros, and probably that euro was too strong with quantitative easing in US, with Abenomics in Japan, of course all major economies are watching each other for exchange rate developments, but currently it seems that we seem to be avoiding the worst scenarios, and that those exchange rate developments are relatively stable and broadly in balance. I don't know, maybe Minister wants to add something on this.
I think there would be some kind of changes because the worst is behind the Eurozone anyway. It was a very complicated period of time during 2011 and 12. At this moment, I think it's not an issue. Let's see, because what would be in Japan and in Far East and in China could be a lot of very interesting development, but otherwise I think that Europe is going to keep existing, so to say, exchange rate or positions, not going to one or another direction.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions over there, please?
Thank you. Agle Merkita, Lithuanian Public Television. I have a few questions. First, there is still 6 months left for Latvia to introduce euro. What is crucial for this period? What do you still plan to do? And what is left to do? And second question about the price raise. How are you going to safeguard that the prices wouldn't get up in Latvia after introducing euro? Thank you.
Well, as regards remaining works, indeed, for most institutions, the work basically begins now, because you have to do all the practical preparation work, all the practical preparations, including minting coins, including ensuring the update of your databases, IT systems. That for businesses it's issues again on their databases, IT systems. For shops and so it's an issue of cash registers. So for Ministry of Economy it's now the price monitoring and all the preparations of the parallel pricing, and after the January 1st for 2 weeks a parallel circulation of two currencies. So we continue to work also towards legislation changes, changing lots to euros. So there are many practical works which we need to do in the remaining less than half of the year. Indeed, we already now doing lots of practical preparations, because if you leave everything to the last less than half of the year, you actually do not manage to have all those practical preparations. So indeed, there is still lots of work to be done. So, Mr.
Yeah, it's actually we are going to start today. Actually, today this is a real job to explaining to the public all those technical issues, and I think the transition should be quite smooth, because we are taking quite a lot of experience from Estonia, and Estonia had very good smooth transition. So to say, I think that's very important. We have nearby a very good example. And as regards to the prices, it's very important is how the society is going to be involved in that. The price monitoring is very important, but For example, this week we are going to sign agreement with traders, so-called responsible about the responsibility and the fairness about how the traders are reflecting the prices following the rules. I think that's very important about this commitment from business side as well. But it's up to the society. Society should be active, following what's going on and following the prices and development. And I think that is, if there would be a good activity, there would be less concern about some kind of wrong rounding of the prices.
If I may, on this price developments, I think there's another important factor besides these agreements we are going to do with the businesses on fair introduction of euro. It's also worth noting that exchange rate of lots or nominal of lots is above euro. And this is a situation contrary to the vast majority of the Eurozone countries, because almost all Eurozone countries were introducing euros from the currencies which nominal was below euro. And then what people see on the price tags, they see smaller figures, and it's easier for businesses to make those figures probably not exactly as small as needed. In our case, the situation is going to be different. What people will see on a price tag, they will see bigger figures. And certainly people psychologically will not like those bigger figures and will double check that it's a correct price. So we expect that also this will prevent for attempts of some businesses maybe to use euro introduction for some kind of a hidden price increase.
Thank you. Due to time constraints, we have time for one more question, please. Yes, over there.
Perhaps a good final question. Can you just tell us who the person is on the Latvian euro coin back there?
Thank you. That's certainly a good question. In fact, the person is Hilda, and what you are seeing, it's a design of the 5 Lats coins back from 1920s, 1930s. So, and somehow those 5 Lats coins, which were quite big silver coins, were much loved by the people, and also during the Soviet occupation, people were storing those 5 Lats coins as some kind of a reminder of the independence of Latvia. So certainly this this design of the 5 Lats coins has also a strong symbolic meaning in Latvia, and when preparing for this euro introduction, and there was also some surveys among people what they would like to see on euro coins, and indeed this was one of the favorite suggestions. So that's exactly what now people will be seeing in 1 and 2 euro coins. And as regards for Eurocents coins, it's a correspondingly small and big coat of arms.
Thank you everyone for participating and for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Šis bija pārsteigts. Viņš jau principā jau, es jau pēc sajūtas bija, cik viss manīja.
otros ir nesaprašana, tad jau nebija. Ja jau palasa to ziņojumu, viņi jau nāca ārā, sakot, no tā paša valodas fonda no janvāra jau soli. Fortsätt.